This dress literally broke the Nigerian internet, and it was worn by the very famous Mercy Chinwo, the Nigerian gospel artist for a traditional wedding. And trust me, guys, when I saw it, I'm like, God, Nigerian designers, they've left the WhatsApp group for us and they've created their own metaverse. They've created their own designer verse, their own Stitchadress, whatever it is, because it is mind blowing. The dress is so beautiful. I'm even biting my tongue. The dress is so beautiful, it's so lovely, it is so elegant, it is graceful, it is modest. And in this video, we're just going to talk about style into bits, to kind of walk you through what the designer did, to give you the framework of what the dress was before it was designed, and the final outfit, and everything the designer did to make this dress come out beautiful. You guys know that this is Fabric Friday. We do everything: style analysis, style illustration, fabrics, and basically tips and tricks on what designers do to dresses to make them stand out. Okay. Okay guys, now this dress is a very beautiful dress, and let us start with the fabric, because from the title of this segment, Fabric Friday, we definitely always have to start with the fabric. And this fabric is a George fabric. Okay, it is a George fabric, and if you're Nigerian, you know that this is the first go-to fabric for a lot of brides when they want to get married, for any special occasion. I use the George fabric for my wedding as well, but I chose a white George fabric. I don't know why I chose a white George fabric. Looking back now, I'm like, I should have picked blue or pink or gold or purple. I don't know. But at the time, I chose white because white was given for me. But right now, this Mercy Chinwo's blue is making me rethink a lot of things. But anyways, this is a very beautiful blue George fabric. Now let us start with the gown. Let's just go straight into the tea, because this is what you guys are here for. We are going to divide this gown into the blouse part and the skirt part. You guys, this thing is a tongue twister for me. Part, blouse, part, skirt. You guys know that a gown is made up of a blouse and a skirt joined together. Okay, so the blouse and the skirt. So let's just start with the blouse part, and this blouse part is consisting of the sleeve, of the turtleneck, and the illusion neckline. Now the sleeve was not added to this gown before all the drapings in the middle was made. So let me just walk you through the first part of this gown. Now the first part of this gown is just a basic straight gown. Okay, in my own opinion, is a basic straight gown with a slit at the back. This gown is a basic straight gown. I have a very funny feeling that it has a goddess behind. It doesn't look like a mermaid gown to me. It looks like a very basic straight gown. Okay, but somewhere in my mind is telling me that the behind has a goddess somewhere there. I'm not very sure. If it doesn't have a goddess, it definitely has a slit. Okay, because it looks a little fitted. So if it's a little fitted, it means there's an ease, a walking ease. So to get that walking ease is either there's a slit or there's a goddess. Okay, now let us start with the blouse of this gown. Now this gown, the blouse part has a corset. Okay, because she's a gospel artist, and apart from she being a gospel artist, I think her personality, naturally, she doesn't like to expose her body. So for this gown, the corset went way, it was a little high up. Okay, it didn't just stop somewhere around here where we can get a little cleavage, a little booby peak. Okay, no, it went high up because she didn't want her boobs and all those things exposed there. Now the designer is very clever. Okay, because looking at the blouse, it has a turtleneck collar. Okay, there's a turtleneck collar. After the turtleneck collar, there's like an illusion neckline there, and this is because the corset went way up. So it would be funny if the corset went way up and it's just there standing, hanging, it's just there stranded, not looking beautiful. So she did an illusion neckline with a tulle. Okay, now the tulle is connected to the turtleneck and the illusion neckline is connected to the corset. Okay, so for the front part, we have the turtleneck line, we have the illusion neck, we have the turtleneck collar, we have the illusion neckline, and we have the corset. Now we are going to go to the back part of this blouse. Now the back part of this blouse has a standard corset lacing. Okay, it has a standard corset lacing which has like an eyelet, and it's not these corsets that it is open. No, it has like a closure where it has like a corset closure where you can you lace the corset and you cover it up, unlike those corsets that the back there is just open. Do you understand? And the back has like this keyhole opening, and you can see that it was accessorized. Okay, let me not bite my mouth. It was accessorized with some applique that was gotten from the George fabric. Okay, now that is just basic for the back part. Now for the sleeve, okay, for the sleeve, this sleeve, the cut looks like a normal shirt sleeve. Okay, I don't know why I'm even looking at it and I'm not looking at it. That's to tell you how technical this looks. It looks like the cut looks like a normal basic shirt hand cut, but then it has like this standing effect. It has like this standing feel, not really effect, it is standing. More like it looks like when you cut like a basic shirt sleeve, okay, but then you cut like a basic shirt sleeve, or you cut like a puffy sleeve, then you pick like a dart in the middle, so it gives you this standing effect. So something in my head is telling me that there's a shoulder pad in this dress, in this sleeve. If there's no shoulder pad in this sleeve, I feel that they picked a dart in one or two places to give it this standing effect. Okay, and of course somehow I feel that they have like an interface in there to give the George fabric strength so that it can stand. Okay, because you guys are saying that it is standing. Okay, now this I don't know why I have a feeling they cut it. I feel like the cutting is more like you cut a puffy sleeve, you pick like darts here, maybe in about two places to give it this standing effect. Of course it will have like an interface. Then maybe if you want more standing effect, you can put like a shoulder pad. I feel there's a shoulder pad there. I might be right, I might be wrong, but when it comes to sewing, there's no one way to achieve a style. Just make sure you achieve it whatever way you want to achieve it, right? So that is it for this part. Okay, let me talk about the rough gown first before we go into the designing of the gown. Now for the down part of this gown, like I said, it is a basic straight. You guys know how you cut your basic skirt, so you just cut it all the way straight. It is long to the ground. Okay, now I said that there's a possibility it has a slit at the back, and if it doesn't have a slit, it has a gorded, because you guys can see that the sides are fitted. Don't look at the draping on it, look at try to look at the fabric itself, not the drapings. It is fitted. So if it's fitted, there's definitely a need for ease, walking ease, so that she can walk in the outfit, or there's a gorded behind. Okay, now this, like I said, is a basic straight gown. So now for this dress, to sew this dress, of course you have to draft a corset, you have to cut a basic skirt. If you don't know how to draft a corset, I have a detailed tutorial here on this channel on how to draft a corset, link in the description box. If you don't know how to draft a basic skirt, I also have a detailed tutorial here on this channel on how to draft a basic skirt. Okay, and the gorded I talked about, I also have a tutorial here on this channel on how to achieve a gorded. So all the links of this tutorial will be in the description box. Blouse has been joined to the skirt part of this dress. So let's now talk about how this draping effect was achieved in this gown. Okay, now of course the skirt part of this dress was draped first, in my own opinion. What I can see here, it was draped from the front part to the back part because it has this cascading effect, and you can't get that cascading effect if you are draping from the back to the front. Okay, and you can see that the front is a little high up and the back is a little lower. Okay, so it was draped in the front. They just used some pins to hold it in between in the front, then started draping it behind, and it was draped on her. This was not draped on maybe a dress form or something. It was draped on her. of sewing this type of outfit, you have to call your customer to come in for fittings maybe once or twice so you can get the perfect fit. Two parts that has embellishment. So that was what was used to drape on this gown. When it comes to dresses and a style coming out right, it doesn't just stop with you just sewing it and leaving it there. You know, when you do some drapings here and there, of course there are some places that will look bare. If the designer had just stopped at draping it, you know, and leaving it there, it wouldn't have looked nice. If she used just like a very plain tool to drape, it wouldn't look nice. But she went ahead to use the embellished part of the George to drape the lower part of the dress. She used like a plain blue to drape the upper part of this dress. So after draping the upper part of this dress, she went ahead to embellish the middle with rhinestones. Okay, now she went ahead to embellish the middle with rhinestones. After embellishing the middle with rhinestones, she also cut out some applique from the lower part of the George and put it in between, you know, that part between the top, between the blouse and the skirt. She went ahead to kind of merge it together so that the design will look, you know, there's a flow, there's a synergy between the top part and the down part. Any person who looks at this thing at a glance will think that, oh, this is how the fabric came. But no, the design was fragmented. Like, okay, they added rhinestones from this piece, you know, from that, added external rhinestones to the drapings. They also used some patches from the George to, you know, include it in the designing on this outfit to make sure that everything comes out beautiful and nice. Okay, now for the sleeve, embellishment on the net tool was also used for the sleeve. And I know you'll be looking at the sleeve, there's more like a beaded fringe at the hem of this dress, at the hem of this sleeve, and it did not come with the fabric, but that's like an external feature that was added to the sleeve to give it class, to make it look beautiful, to make it look lovely. Okay, now for the turtleneck, she also went ahead to embellish the turtleneck all round. Okay, that's not how the fabric came. Okay, it was plain and they went ahead to embellish it with some stones. It came out beautiful. That for this outfit, she used minimal jewelry for it because the outfit was already embellished top to bottom, like from the top of this fabric to the bottom of the fabric was fully embellished. Okay, my own sequence when it comes to making this dress, the first thing that was made for this dress, top part of this dress. Okay, so the first thing that was made was the corset. The illusion neckline was added to the corset, and the illusion neckline was added to the corset. Then the turtleneck collar was added to blouse part of this gown. Then they went ahead to make the skirt part of this gown. After making the skirt part of this gown, they attached the blouse and the skirt together. Then they went ahead to drape. After draping and draping and draping, okay, they did their rhinestones, they did some of their designing, because there are some you can do. You know, they did the draping on the top part of the dress before they went ahead to attach the sleeve. After attaching the sleeve, they went ahead to put finishing touches here and there. And that was how this beautiful gown was made. Okay, you guys can see that the back part has like a gorded draping behind. The back part has a gorded draping behind. That is why I say I have a feeling there's a gorded somewhere behind the dress. From the side, you guys can see that the side is well penciled. It looks well fitted. It looks put together. It looks lovely. I really want to give a big shout out to the designer, Vicky James. She did a really good job. And this is her masterpiece. It is so beautiful. It is so lovely. This is just a workflow on how this dress was made, how it was put together. And it came out really lovely. The bride was so happy. She kept telling the designer, I'm so happy. She even told the designer, thank you. So guys, this is how the dress was made. For me, this dress has inspired me. This design has even sparked my creativity when it comes to creating a design, executing a design, just playing around with patches, playing around with stones, playing around with, you know, designs, moving something from really basic to something that is very fashionable and phenomenal. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.